Hello, friends. It's Chapo. I will say, and Felix has talked about this, like the thing that makes Twitter work is that it is the negative site where everyone is there to hate on. But like you need the people you hate to be there, which is like why I'm not going to be on Mastodon or Hive or any positive social media network. Like, no, I'm here to abuse public figures and to revel in the sort of moron of the day. But they've let the Slimers back. They've loosed them back into the system.
No hot dog stand is safe right now. There's a bunch of ectoplasmic manifestations shoving filth in their faces. Yeah, that I was trying to think of what it actually seemed like. The bit which I guess is like basically a Ghostbusters gloss, was like the bit in Cabin of the Woods where they're just like a bunch of werewolves are released in an office setting. But that's basically been the kind of the Twitter energy since he's letting him back. And there's no bottom to it. That like, if you let back everybody except for Alex Jones, they're just going to ask for fucking Alex Jones. Like, these aren't people that want to be happy. They want to boss you around. And they also want to make other people unhappy. But like, fundamentally, like, no matter how many times you try to riff with Cat Turd, all he's going to do is use you. Like, I don't know. I guess you'd have to be Elon not to get that.
I mean, Cat Turd's the best one because this is a guy who is 60-year-old man who is every day diagnosing himself with cyber Morgellons. He's making up a new thing that is restraining his posts. And of course, it's like, what would you want? What would be proof that you weren't being deboosted or whatever the fuck? And it's like, I would be an immortal god emperor of the universe, I guess. I don't know. Like, I would achieve like machine consciousness like the Lawnmower Man. I don't know. Whatever it is, he does not have it. He's just sitting in his disgusting hovel posting. So that means someone is deboosting him. Someone is demonetizing him. Someone is shadow banning him. And so all day he just is hollering about getting deboosted. And Elon is there looking at the code like, I don't know what he's talking about. But
right.
You can't just tell him he's insane.
The guy's got 1 million followers for like half of his posts are just like the scene where like Brooke Smith is in the well in Silence of the Lambs, but it's Kamala's face. And then like somehow Trump is like Buffalo Bill. And that's just like, that's the gag. That's the whole gag. He's 1 million followers off that shit. Like, what I definitely think the question of what more Cat Turd wants from his experience online is one that I would like to see. Like,
I want to go in there and be like, Cat Turd, what do you want?
Yeah,
I think the answer is at some point that's what Elon's going to have to do. He's just show up on a helicopter in this guy's front yard.
Yeah, like, what am I going to need to do to get you into this new, differently colored check mark today?
I mean, I think the answer is it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter if you're shadow banned, throttled, or put in the good boy woke fast lane. What does anyone want from a Twitter experience? Unsolicited nudes in their DMs. Yep. If they're a man, of course. If they're a man, you know.
I'm sure that Cat Turd is getting plenty of those where it's through the sort of like that MAGA filter where it just looks like a Rothko painting. Like, it's just like a field of light with some eyes visible at the top of it. And they're like, yeah, looking good. I need to see you now.
The most filtered dentists' wives of Central and Southern Florida.
Oh, wow. I scroll through these and I just look like I'm getting hit up by the aliens from Communion.
And then, like, I guess, like, the other big news is Kanye West had his Twitter account back reinstated, and he's used it to announce a presidential run for 2024. But this is like coming on the heels of a week in which he has just been just vibing and hanging out with his new creative team, which includes Nick Fuentes,
Milo.
And Milo, I mean, before the last couple of weeks or whatever, like Kanye West, Elon Musk, I think they were both people that could be, fairly described or like still discussed in terms of being like controversial but mercurial geniuses.
Yep.
And man, and then going to Mar-a-Lago with Nick Fuentes and having dinner with Trump, I don't know. This is a new level because much of the online right and even Trump himself has prospered greatly from this sort of kissing cousins routine with, outright ideological white supremacy and fascism. Nick Fuentes is probably the only guy of which there's like you can't even make a cute tongue-in-cheek bad faith argument that he's not, you just call him a Nazi because he's a conservative. It's like, no, like this guy says the Holocaust didn't happen, but if it did, it would be good.
Yeah. Like he's like, that's like his whole brand is basically being the one guy who's not playing footsie about it. Like all the rest of these dudes are sort of like, I'm taking a third position, winking emoji. Nick Fuentes is 100% just sort of being like, I'd love to put everybody into camps.
Yeah, because his audience is all of the guys who have given up completely ever making any other human being non-uncomfortable in their presence. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like that. My life is just any person who is in a room with me wishes they were somewhere else. And
Yeah, I think
if that's you, if that's what you're committed to, then you don't want pussyfooting around, and you don't want winking. You want something that you know other people are horrified by. And that guy who is also, in addition to all the bad opinions, just physically repellent. I mean, he literally eats his boogers on stream. That's the secret sauce. That's exactly what you want. Which means that Kanye's idea of running for president is to make the groypers, not even like the right in some, broad sense,
Right.
like the guys like Trump, most of them, can have eye contact conversations with someone. Many of them are in fact married. Instead, his presidential run is going to be entirely premised on micro targeting guys who like cannot make eye contact with another person for more than a
Guys
second.
who were like in real life shadow banned out of their college's Turning Point USA chapter for being too unsettling. Which is, it is remarkable that's what it, I mean, the Milo thing was just funny to me because that's just like the definition of freely available, like waiver wire reactionary talent at this point. It's like if you're starting a presidential campaign and you're just sort of like, it's like if you had a basketball team and you could pick anybody, like picking Milo first is just basically being like, well, all right, Ricky Davis. Like, I know he's out there. He's not employed right now. And I know he gets a lot of shots up. And that's just kind of, I mean, that part of it is sad. The Fuentes thing, it's like, Fuentes is gross. Maybe I should be more scared of groypers. But there is like that element of it where it just sort of seems like dedicating yourself to being the most disgusting that you can be. Like, as long as we've still got anything like politics, that's not a winning proposition to me.
Yeah, though the end political act for these guys is not even like phone banking or knocking on a door. It's just doing a mass shooting.
Yes, it is.
Like,
It's
that's
like,
it.
Yep.
I say, think about Fuentes personally. That's so funny because Matt, you and I have actually been in the same room with him. I'm
Yes, I ran away. I basically, we're talking to Jared Holt at CPAC, and he came up, and he is legitimately.
He's like 5'5".
He's tiny. I think he might be shorter than that. He's like 3 apples high.
He's like Tom Cruise height.
He's a mini man.
And he has teeth like a dolphin, like the Dave Chappelle haters sketch where he's just got teeth like he's got teeth like a dolphin. Yeah, he's got these like little like row after row of chiclets in his mouth, and he's just like how do I describe him? Like he has the mannerisms of like an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah, he's all like bunched up like Mr. Burns.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's all like turned into himself. Like it's unsettling. And that's the idea. Like I've won by making you kind of grossed out by being there. I've defeated you.
I remember him doing like a very conscious Trump imitation, like in terms of his speech, like his cadence and mannerisms when he was first, because he was first in the news, I think in like 2016, when there was still these kinds of stories where it was like all this conservative student wanted was to be loved at the campus that he was at, but he had to leave because everybody thought that he was a disgusting Nazi because of the views that he has, which are those of a disgusting Nazi. But he would like get interviewed on TV and be doing like kind of this like Z-grade Trump voice where he like, I remember him saying like, not very nice. But it was like the sort of like the way that like Trump sometimes talks, and he's like, he's not opening his mouth for some reason. Like he's just made that artistic decision. But seeing someone who was like 18 years old at the time doing it, I was like, this person's going to have an unhappy life. It didn't occur to me that he would like catch on in any way.
I mean, that the key here in all facets is whatever your deformity is in life, whatever is you have to double down on and really commit to if you want to have any hope of ringing a bell and making anybody care. I mean, this guy, he was so committed to being gross that he had dinner with the former president and Kanye West. He did that. He pulled that off. They're strategizing now.
Yeah, never let anybody tell you that you can't achieve your dreams of being at the golf club.
Yeah.
Where there was, I think also around the same time, but differently, I saw a great picture of Baseball Hall of Famer Johnny Bench at what appeared to be a patriotic men's fashion show at Mar-a-Lago. So like that's happening in a room near, so there's like 3 rooms at Mar-a-Lago. There's like the room where Trump eats dinner. There's the room where the Johnny Bench fashion show happens. And then there's a room where they just play Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves 24 hours a day. and it's just full of crying people. And so like Kanye was in like probably the best of those rooms, but like so was Nick Fuentes, so he made it.
Did you guys see the? It was a clip from a dinner party at Mar-a-Lago where they had one of the keyboardists from Journey performing "Don't Stop Believing" for Harry Lake and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh boy,
good times. But the other funny Nick Fuentes thing, and like Felix has brought this up in the past, it's like talk about like leaning into everything that makes you a repellent person. It was that thing where like he like excommunicated his best friend and number 2 guy on like the Groyper network because he took a black light into his bedroom and found like cum stains on his sheets. And he
they were nutting, and you cannot be nutting to be a real Groyper warrior. You got to preserve that shit.
As Felix pointed out, there was like a pseudo controversy of the Groyper world because like someone leaked Discord chats with like Nick Fuentes and his weird friends, where they would like sissy hypno themselves into being cat boys. They'd be like, "I've hypnotized you. I'm being hypnotized by you. I'm a cat bimbo now. I have a tail. Meow."
Like the hazards of semen retention laid plain.
Yeah.
Medical professionals will tell you, but then like, yes, when you see the records where people turn themselves into the thing they hate the most just because they refuse to jerk off, it's really dark.
But you know, I mean, like, and then Kanye, like I said, like has anyone like, because like there were still some threads connecting him to being like, oh, he's a daring artist or something like that, but like those have been snipped entirely. Like he is in total free fall at this point.
Yeah,
and like I don't know. I mean, like he said he asked Trump to be his vice president, and he said Trump got very mad at that. But I mean, like, it just what's going on with Kanye? I mean, like, is the Black Hitler thing going to catch on?
I mean, he's going to do his best. I don't think he, like any of these guys, you can't just stop doing the thing you're doing. Like that's the one way that you show that you've either heard criticism or admitted defeat.
Can't have
so
that.
Like he's stuck with this shit for the rest of his life, I think, which is not, 100% what you want, I guess, if you're going to be alive for 40 more years. But I think that's probably he seems committed to it at this point, if nothing else.
Well, like I said, when you're wearing matching outfits with Nick Fuentes and just vibing with him, it's just you're pot committed at this point.
The thing that struck me about this, and this is like to Matt's point about like Fuentes, if we're going to do physiognomy chat, that there is like this way that like somehow you've worked yourself around to like the most extreme thing you can do is have the exact political opinions like to the letter of like a bigoted septuagenarian in like extreme exurban Milwaukee, like that like so somebody's just like that, getting those beliefs into the head of someone who consumes the media that Kanye consumes, because I'm assuming he's not watching like Newsmax, right? Like he's got other things in his life, I think, right? Like but like getting a normal person that fricasseed in the brain to wind up there is really remarkable to me.
I mean, I don't think he watches Newsmax. He just, because he's a super rich guy and super connected, he just has the people from Newsmax come to him, like hang out that aircraft carrier hangar that he hangs out in with the giant screen, where he's watching Blade Runner for the 50th time in a row.
That helps him be more
have
normal.
Him come in there and like rap it out. It's like if Howard Hughes had invited George Lincoln Rockwell to the penthouse of the Sands Hotel while they watched Ice Station Zebra together and had some ice cream
for a private audience. Yeah, I do like the idea that actually does seem kind of like in the same way that like I think the only people Trump really reveres are like certain types of on-air talent at Fox. The idea of Kanye being like, I really want to collaborate with you. I love your work. And like that used to be something that he would have an assistant transmit to like Pusha T. And now it's just going to like Jenna Ellis or like Stefan Molyneux or just like some like reactionary YouTube creature that he like wants to get in the studio with him.
We got to link and build. We got to collab.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to cook. So first day in the stew with Nick Fuentes. That should be great.
I think the thing that Trump was most perturbed about, me asking him to be my vice president, I think that was like lower on the list of things that caught him off guard. It was the fact that I walked in with intelligence. So Trump is really impressed with Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, unlike so many of the lawyers and so many people that he was left with on his 2020 campaign, he's actually a loyalist. When he didn't know what the lawyers is, you'll still have your lawyer list. And when all the lawyers said, forget it, Trump's done, there were loyalists running up. And the White House.
Moving on, though, this is like, outside the realm of politics, but this is certainly another turkey of the year. Did you guys see this Los Angeles Magazine article about this woman who plowed through 2 kids?
Really moving stuff. I think it's more, as I recall from the article, it was her Mercedes that plowed through the 2 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. It just, there's some really good stuff in this one. This is just like, it's sort of a question of like, why this like wildly sympathetic profile of this rich lady who just like murdered 2 kids with her car.
Yeah.
Where
Like
is
the
this
fact
coming
that-
from? Like, I mean, I guess it's just if you're rich, you have like good lawyers and PR people that can like seed
Yeah.
the media with something like this. But like,
Yeah,
who
she
at Los
probably paid
Angeles
people
Magazine
directly
thought this
to
was a
write
good
that.
idea?
That's the
Well,
part
the
of it
check
that-
cleared. That was the good idea.
Yeah.